putting some putty in these cracks, what I'm using is perfect plastic putty. I got this off of eBay, and I'm also using a clay tool. This is rubber, so it's flexible, but it's chiseled. So I can squeeze a little putty out, put it on the tip, and then just kind of paint it on. Just paint the putty into the crack. And with the flexibility of the rubber and the chisel point, I can go over it and just keep forcing the putty down into the seam. Just like that. This perfect plastic putty dries really fast, so it won't be too much longer. I can go back in and sand and see if I need to put in more putty, and just keep doing that until I get it as smooth as I need it. I've sanded and filled a couple of times, but I've gotten rid of that inset where these halves meet together here on the bottom. I still need to fix these little indents on this bottom plate here. I've gotten the sides good enough, but these still have a little bit of a dent in it. I've also done the same here. Got rid of that little instep on the front of the Cylon. I'm going to go over everything one more time just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I'll be able to move on to paint finally. I've sanded my canopy and painted it. Now I'm masking it off, the little top part here that is the light color of the Cylon, and I've masked it off with some Tamiya tape. I believe this is the 10mm, and now I'll need to go and mask off the rest of this so I don't get any overspray and spray that. I've used some 3x5 post-its to mask off the rest. These are the ones that have the sticky the long way, not the short way, on the post-it. And the color I'm going to use is Garage Kit Neutral Gray. I've mentioned these before when I was doing the Batman figure, and I loved the way they sprayed. All I had was the flesh tones, so now I've bought some more, and I'm going to try some of their other colors to see if they're as good as the flesh tones, and if they are, then they're going to be better than the Vallejos, and I may just switch paints altogether. I'm masking off some panels here on the bottom of the Cylon. I'm using the 10mm Tamiya tape. This is really good tape. And what I do is when I get it on there, I'll take a toothpick, it's a round toothpick, and I'll go in the groove to make sure that I get that tape flush up against the kit so that I get a nice crisp line once I airbrush it. And then once I have that on there, I'll take just the regular 2-inch blue painter's tape, which I have taken the sticky off, using it on a piece of material, or I'll just put it on the table a couple of times and squash it down on the top of the table and then peel it up, and that'll take the sticky off of it. And I reuse this tape. You can see it's got wrinkles and stuff in it because I've already done some masking on the other side. And I I try to get it as close as I can to the edge of the Tamiya tape, so there's no underspray or anything like that. The rest I'll either just use paper, or sometimes I'll just use these big Post-its like I showed before to make sure that everything's covered and I get no overspray on the outsides. So I'm going to do the other one and then I'll spray it and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, everything's been sprayed, so now it's just a matter of gingerly taking off the tape. Don't want to rip it off in case the paint isn't completely adhered. Better safe than sorry. Like I said, I saved my tape, this tape here, because I've got more I need to spray. And this is already taken off the Tamiya. There. Just zoom in on this one. Other way. Oops. There. Now you can see there's a real nice crisp line, which is exactly what we want. Okay, I've got everything painted that I'm going to paint on the bottom. Have the black stripes on either side are the wings, which I painted with modelworx NATO black. The darker gray, like inside the intakes here, this stripe here, these two back plates, and then the outsides of these wings here, painted with medium sea gray, which is also a Vallejo modelworx. And then the lighter panels here and here, and these two big panels back here, I just used the ATST color. I still have half a bottle, so I used that. So these three tones, along with the lighter base color, gives me good contrast all throughout the bottom. Now I need to work on the top, mask, and paint all of those colors. Going to put on the curved stripes on the wings. What I did was I scanned from the instructions the templates and then printed it out in case I needed to cut more. So I cut the one off, and this is the one I'm going to use for both sides. So I'll do this one like this, and then I'll just turn it over and use this one on the other side. So what I need to do now is I need to measure from the inside of this wing here 5/16. That's what the instructions say. So I'm going to get my two marks on either side here, and then I'll lay my template down and trace around the outline. This area here is probably going to be the hardest part to mask. So what I've done is I've just taken a little piece of the 10mm Tamiya tape and did this little area. Now I'll take the longer pieces and continue on, and then along the bottom also. I've got my stripe taped off on both sides, and now I'm taking my blue painter's tape and covering it, and then when I go out to airbrush it, I'll cover the rest so nothing gets on it, no overspray. Okay, both the wing stripes on the top are done, and you can see by doing this area first, I've kind of eliminated any underspray or anything from the tape. There's always going to be some rough edges. That's just the nature of what it is. But it did come out pretty clean enough for me. And both stripes are done. So now what I need to do is put all the top pieces on and glue them, except for the canopy. I'll do that last. And then seal everything with some satin varnish, and then we can move on to the weathering. I almost forgot to go over all my panel lines with my .03 HB lead mechanical pencil, which I have done, and I sealed everything with the Krylon matte finish. And the reason I have blue tape on there is so I know which can I am currently using. So now everything is sealed, and now I can finally move on to the weathering. Working on the weathering, what I'm using are just regular pastels. Any cheap pastels will do. All I'm using is the black and the brown right now. I'm also using these little throwaway lip gloss applicators. They have a chisel point and they're spongy on the tip. And I got a big bag of them, like there's like 50 of them in a bag. Like I got these off of Amazon. So what I do is I'll have one for each color, an applicator thing. So what I'll do is I'll take it in here, take it, and I'll just rub it over the pastel really light. Then I'll take a paper towel and I'll knock it off, kind of like dry brushing. And then I'll come in and I'll just dab. I'll dab the black on there. It may be hard to see on camera, but then I'll take another one that's clean, and then I'll just start going in circles and working it in, smoothing it out and evening it, making it a little more even. So what I'm trying to achieve is a gradation from dark to light in a panel. And when you do that, it gives it a real nice effect where it's dark at the front and light towards the back. And I'll go and I'll do that all over the whole top and the whole bottom. I've completed all the pastel work. You can see the gradation on the panels helps give it more of a three-dimensional effect. Instead of looking flat, gives it a little more life. And I did some subtle weathering. I didn't want to make it look too damaged or anything like that. I also put the decals on the wings. I used that, put them on with water, and then I used Walther Solvaset to set them in. I like the Walthers better than I do the Microsol and the Microset. I don't care too much for these decals because they're a thicker material than what I'm used to. I actually prefer the thinner decals because they set better into the moldings of the kit. But they're already on there, so I'm not gonna take them off or anything. If I'd have known what they were gonna do, I would have just gone ahead and airbrushed the color instead of using the decals. Live and learn. I also put a thin wash around the middle here and down the middle of the back here. and I did that using the Vallejo Game Color wash, the black. All these washes are really good washes. I really like them. So what I have left to do, oh, and also I drilled out these little holes here, and I just took a wheel from my parts box and glued these wheels in here so that it wasn't just that flat inside that was in there. There's some dimension to it, and it looks semi-functional. So now I have the bottom to finish up. I need to put my bars on my canopy here and seal everything, and then this kit will be complete. So that's going to do it for part 3. The next part will be the finale, which will be the gallery. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for subscribing, and we will see you on the finale, and then we'll move on to the next build.